morning. Ricardo Gaudino, Golden State History, Transportation Ag Education Fund. I'm at the mouth of the Napa River. This river has a key significance to California, to unlocking the story of the entire Golden State. So today, I have several questions to energize your thirst for knowledge. Who named America? How did Alta California come about? Who named your town? I invite you now to know your story as a patriot and learn about the place you live.
Welcome this afternoon to the historic steps of the Napa Courthouse. One of the things that I need to do is to explain to everyone who's here why you're here. I think that is probably the most important thing I can do. And then we have several people who are going to say some things about their relationship with the community in which we live, and that's important. Perhaps the most important thing we're going to do, however, that will have some lasting value is we're going to launch a movement today. We're going to launch an educational campaign. We're going to launch an opportunity, I hope, for the children and the adults and everyone in our community of Napa and Napa Valley to know more about this absolutely marvelous place in which we live. There are a couple of things that I would be happy with if they occur when we leave. First of all, if when we leave everybody can go away saying, oh yeah, that's why we came. And otherwise, if everybody can go away with at least one or two, my goodness moments. I didn't know that about Napa County, and so we'll work on that. But the thing that we've really come to do is to raise the flag, and we're going to do that in just a minute. It's a different kind of flag we're going to raise this afternoon. Flags have been raised over California for some time, as a matter of fact. I thought I probably needed to do my little history lesson because the rest of you are going to do history lessons, and I needed to talk to you at least for a second or two about flags over California, because there have been several, as a matter of fact. And before the afternoon is out, there is going to be yet another flag over Napa, at least, and 50 other communities, 50 other counties, cities in California that are celebrating in the same way we are. Not exactly at this moment. Some have already done it. Some are going to be following us. But nevertheless, we're going to raise another flag. However, the flags have been being raised here for a very, very, very long time. You know, there were not flags representing countries for a long time. It really wasn't until the American Revolution, the French Revolution, that flags became something that were identified with people. Flags were usually identified with armies, flags were identified with royalty, flags were identified with royal houses and all of those kinds of things. And in the course of that time in California, I'll make it quick, we've had several. First of all, the Spanish. The Spanish arrived in October of 1542, and although there was not a Spanish flag at the time, there was the royal standard of Carlos V. And all of those Spanish explorers that were roaming the Golden State were walking behind the flag of Carlos V. The Spanish Empire had a flag and raised it in Monterey in 1785. It flew there till 1822. England, of all things, jolly old England, raised the flag over California, and it lasted for all of 37 days. Sir Francis Drake arrived down at Drake's Bay, claimed California for England, and raised the flag. Came down about a month later. The Russians, always one of the things that I'm fascinated by. The Russians came as far south as Mount St. Helena. And the Russian flag flew in California from 1812 to 1841. Argentina, a group of Argentine pirates came to Monterey, and they pillaged and they did everything and claimed California for Argentina, and the Argentine flag flew for 16 days over Monterey. The flag of the Mexican Empire flew from 1822 to 1824. Replaced finally when the empire was overthrown by the Mexican Republic from 1824 to 1846. And in 1846, the flag of the United States of America began flying over California. And except for a brief moment, it has continued to fly the whole time. All of you are probably familiar with the brief moment when from June 14th to July 11th, 1847, we were the Bear Flag Republic. Didn't last very long, just a few days, says here. All these flags had political and government connotations, but the flag we're going to fly this afternoon is not that kind of flag. It's a cultural flag. It's a flag that I hope, as it flies on the flagpole here in the center of town, is going to remind us that we live in an extraordinary place, and we should know about it, and our children should know about it. And hopefully the day will come when our children's children will know about it. In order for that to happen, where you go? He was interrupted by applause 25 times. That's one, 24 to go. In order for you to understand what we're going to do, you need to understand about 3 or 4 concepts, and I'll give them to you quickly. Concept number 1 is the America 500 Birthday Extravaganza. You probably didn't know, but you will know before this afternoon is over, that 502 years ago, in 1507, America was named. The word America was used for the first time to refer to that which was, when it was first used, the South American continent, and eventually made its way to be used all over. In response to this extraordinary 500th anniversary, a movement was begun in the House of Representatives in Washington that suggested it would be a marvelous time for us in a way that hopefully will spread across the United States, for us to begin to remember the history that we have. It's a tragic thing when sometimes, we worry sometimes about how our kids are doing in math. Ought to test them in history once in a while. It's a sad and tragic thing when we don't really know as much as we ought to know. So before the afternoon is over, you're going to know a little more about America 500. Before the afternoon is over, you're going to know a little more about a campaign that is really who and what we are, called Bring Home the Spirit of History to Your Town. And finally, you need to know a little bit about Alta California, the cultural capital of the world. Believe it or not, cultural capital of America, believe it or not, as they finally began to come around and come up the western side of the continent, they finally came to a place that was so extraordinarily hospitable. They finally came to this place here that we'll learn about before the afternoon is over, thanks to a river that was navigable, thanks to a climate that was extraordinary, thanks to a land that was productive. Instead of landing in all of the possible places they could have, somehow they began with us. And so we are celebrating, as your flags say, Alta California, Upper California, California above Baja. We're celebrating Alta California, the cultural capital of America. We'll have more to say about that. Right now, we want to raise the flag. We want to let it be carried over. If you may begin the ceremony, and I'll talk you through it. I'm going to do everything but sing. We're going to raise the flag.
Go ahead, unfold it, yes.
Carry on, folks.
There we go.
Raise the flag to the pole and raise it.
There you go, it's the flag bearers. Okay, go ahead, on the corner, everybody on the corner. 4 people, come on. Go ahead, grab the flag. That's it, come on in.
One more.
We need another flag bearer.
Right here.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, now we need someone in the middle. Patty, jump in the middle. There we go. Okay, come on. Get in there, Isabel.
There you go.
There you go. And now we can all march over to the flag. Key.
We are attempting to bring history home again. We've invited several people to come, and for a few moments each to give us a little story, whatever kind of story they would like to, having to do with Napa, having to do with their own personal life, having to do with their own history, because that's what we're all about. It is a sad state of affairs, I say, when we live in places and we are just pretty line for what's around us.